Hey, what's up? My name's Lucas. I'm a photographer and filmmaker based out of West Michigan. Welcome to my channel. Today, we are talking about my 1-year review of the Leica Minilux. This thing has been a beast for me. I love this camera. There are a few downsides to it that you should be aware of if you are interested in picking it up. I shot this camera probably more than I would have this year, simply because my M6 has been gone most of this year. Anyways, we'll start with the good about this camera, and that is the 40mm Summit lens. This lens might be one of the best lenses on a point and shoot camera. Now, I know that in the high-end point and shoot world, there are some incredible lenses. Some of the lenses that I really want to try out are the Nikon 28 Ti, the Nikon 35 Ti. I've shot with the Contax T2, and all of those seem like they are legitimate options for having high-end point and shoot cameras. It is quite literally a Leica lens through and through. This thing is a beast. It is so sharp, and as far as a point and shoot lens, I mean, you can't ask for more. Some have said that it is a legendary point and shoot lens.
The Leica Minilux is a very, very similar camera. It's just got a fixed 40mm f2.4 on it that is godly, and it comes with flex cable issues out the ass and back around.
The other thing that I love about this camera is its meter. The way that it meters for backlighting is honestly super impressive. When you turn it on, it does have the auto flash function turned on every time you turn it on. So if you are backlit and it needs just a little bit of fill light, it will push that fill light in. If you haven't seen my other reviews of this camera, please like and subscribe. It really does make a huge difference, and then those videos will pop up on your feed. And so it will add just a little bit of fill if it needs just a little bit of fill, and it does it really tastefully, really beautifully. You have manual control on it, so to turn it on to fully auto, you just have the P mode program and then AF right there, and then you can choose which aperture you want or which focus mode you want. Obviously, you choose the film speed by which film stock you put into it, and then it will set the shutter speed manually for you to properly expose the image. Now you have a few lights on the back. You've got a green light and a red light. Solid green means that you are good to go and it will take a properly exposed image. Flashing green means it's going to be a slow shutter speed, so maybe don't, or maybe just hold the camera still. And then a red light means that it's going to fire the flash, and blinking red means that the flash is charging. So super simple to use, super simple to set up. If you want to not use the flash or turn it off, you can go through different modes. You have to press the mode button 6 times to turn the flash off completely, but it does reset once you turn the camera off and then back on again. So keep that in mind when using this camera. Another great feature that it has is the exposure value. This, to use, you just have to hold until the screen starts blinking, and then you can cycle through plus 0.5, plus 1, plus 1.5, plus 2, minus 2, minus 1.5, minus 1, minus 0.5, 0. Keep in mind with this one that this does stay locked. So if you have an exposure value set to under or overexpose or push or pull your film, it will stay on that until you change it. A lot of times I like to push HP5 to 1600, so I will set it to -2 stops on the exposure value. That way it is underexposing the image by 2 stops, which is essentially metering for 1600 with this camera. But if I put in a roll of Gold 200 or Portra 400 or whatever, and I don't want to be pushing my film, it doesn't know that you switched film stocks, so you will need to manually change the exposure value every time. And then the final feature that you have is a self timer. If you just press it, it starts a 10-second clock, and then it will take a picture at the end of those 10 seconds. Super handy. If you want to cancel it, just press the self timer button again or turn the camera off and it will cancel it. This is a self rewinding point and shoot. So once you get to the end of a roll, it will rewind the film back into the canister. It takes about a minute and a half, and you get to watch as the counter goes back down to 0. That's really it. I mean, you've got a standard 1/4 thread at the bottom, so you can put this on a tripod if you're using the self timer, or if you are just like composing an image with it. But apart from that, this camera, it's super simple to use. I use it in the program mode probably 90% of the time that I'm shooting with this camera, because I like to use it as just a point and shoot for family events or just around the house. I have taken this on multiple trips this year. It has gone to Florida with me, Serbia, and it was my main film camera on my Utah trip. My first issue with this camera came when I was in Florida, and that is when I got my infamous EO2 error. So that's kind of the start of the downsides with this camera. The EO2 error is a ribbon error in the mechanism that sends the lens out. So it's not unique to the Leica Minilux. Any of those cameras that have a projecting lens can have a EO2 equivalent error. But what is unique to the Leica Minilux is there's a fix for it. Red Dot Supply replaces ribbons for the Leica Minilux, not the Leica Minilux Zoom, but they will put in a brand new ribbon so that you can keep shooting with this camera. When I first got the EO2 error, I was like, this camera's bricked. I'm never going to be able to use it again. And I was 3.5 rolls in. But because of Red Dot repair, I was able to get it back and in good working condition. They also cleaned the element of the lens while they had it all opened up and in the viewfinder. Speaking of the viewfinder, it's small. Maybe the worst viewfinder I've ever used. You get used to it, I guess, but it is such a small viewfinder. It's a bit difficult to compose shots with. And yeah, I mean, I don't understand why they made such a small viewfinder on this camera. So unlike the Minilux Zoom, it does not have a hot shoe. So if there's any external attachments that you would like to add to it, you're out of luck. There's no way to add any external features to this camera. For me, using it as a point and shoot, I don't mind because it has a built-in flash and the flash does an incredible job. One of the other major downsides is if you bump the focus ring on top of the camera, it never resets or anything when you are turning the camera on and off. I've shot a few rolls at infinity focus, and that is pretty demoralizing because it's film and you only see it once it's developed unless you are checking where your focus is at. So I've definitely learned that the hard way. Keep an eye on where your focus is set to. Other than that, it's been an incredible camera for me. I love that I can just throw it in my pocket and really not worry about it. I do have this tap and die wrist strap for it, which I've loved. I got it right when I got this camera, and it's an incredible strap. So if you want to support a great strap maker, Justin makes all of these straps by hand, and he does an incredible job. This isn't sponsored by anybody, but go support Justin and pick up some of his straps. I have it linked down below. Should you get a Leica Minilux? I mean, I think so. I think this camera is incredible. And if you are looking for a premium point and shoot that is going to be able to be repaired when that ribbon breaks, then this is really your only option. I had a Contax T2. I decided to sell it because I didn't trust it. I got nervous every time I used it. Every time I opened the camera, I was like, okay, it's a risk. It's a gamble each time. And then it is just a brick and sitting on my shelf. But this, I know if anything happens, there's a place to send it to. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please like and subscribe. It really does make a huge difference. And if you want to support this channel, my Essentials preset pack is for sale down below as well. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down there as well. And I will see you in the next video.